Welcome to Queer Next, the podcast that puts the yeehaw in y'all means all. I'm your host, Beck.
And I am your host, Dash. Welcome to today's episode.
We're both wearing orange today.
I know.
It's Falcon Friday here.
When I first came to work there, student affairs at most universities is kind of like this, like they're supposed to be the cheerleaders of campus and stuff. And so Tobias was like, we got to get you some swag. So he took me to the bookstore there and bought me the most like comfortable hoodie I think I've ever owned. It was like this really fancy athletics hoodie. And when you sat down and I saw that, I just realized I haven't seen that hoodie in forever. I wish I knew what happened to it. I've had a lot of housing instability between then and now.
I wear this with a orange and brown flannel that I have.
Aren't orange and brown just kind of like, that's a strong choice,
Yes.
you know?
Very much so.
Oh, look at this. I'm in my recliner. I can't sit. I sleep in this thing. Someone found out that I, needed furniture, and we had worked on a project with them over the summer for Morris Pride. And so I was just over at their house doing planning or whatever. And I hear like, open up the back of your car. And I turn around and like their sibling and like their, I think, partner were carrying this recliner out of their house and like loading it into my car. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And they were like, we needed rid of it. And she was like, do you like it? And I was like, yeah, man, it's a free recliner. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I was grateful then, and I'm like twice as grateful now.
Yeah, I hear that.
But last night though, so I'm like, math is hard. Math is especially hard when you're on 3 different medications that make you stupid. So I'm on a really high dose of gabapentin. It's like kind of the max, right? They can't go any higher. It's 1,800 milligrams a day. And so I take it 3 times a day. And because they titrated me up, at first I started out on a lower dose. So I have 2 different strength capsules. And last night I went to take my dose and thought I had the 100 capsules. And so I counted out enough to get up to my dose, and I had the 200 ones. And I realized it as soon as they went down, because that's always the moment you realize when you've done something that stupid.
Right.
The second it's too late to do. So I do the thing that, folks who dabble in substances do, which is Google, what's the maximum amount of this I can take? And Google was like, you're going to have a weird night, but you'll probably survive.
Did you in fact have a weird night?
I sure did. And I told everybody, I texted like, Sabrina and Claire and anybody who might want to get in contact with me, like, this is what just happened. I've looked into it. When I come to, I'll let you know. And yeah, I was sitting here in front of the TV and I was like, okay, yeah, it might not be that bad or whatever. And then next thing I know, it's 2:30 a.m. and I'm like crashed the fuck out on this recliner. I don't know if I had tried to stand up or what, but I made it back down into it, but not in like the appropriate
configuration.
This was not the factory model. And I know that I had been, I don't know, like my mouth had been wide open. So it was not like normal sleep, because this is not how I sleep, because everything down to like my gullet was bone dry. And so I had just been
Not your gullet.
And what was I doing? Was I talking? Was I making noise? Did I look like the girl in the closet in The Ring? All day I've been just having this image of what I must have looked like in this recliner for 6 hours.
When Shanna and I first left West Virginia, we moved to Hamilton, Ohio, and we just packing. We were up for days and we were exhausted. We had already lost our mind like 3 times. We passed one of those restaurants that just has a big sign that says restaurant, and we thought it was hilarious, and we laughed about that for like laughed our heads off for like an hour. So we got there and we got everything unloaded, and we, everybody left, and we got the futon set up in the living room, and we sat down and we're like, all right, we're going to go to the store in like 5 minutes. And we sat there, and the next thing we knew, it was 8:00 the next morning. I had fallen asleep sitting straight up, and Shannon was asleep on my shoulder, and we didn't move for, like, 6 hours.
That's that's the good sleep
Yeah.
though, because that's what I thought, like, when I noticed, like, my mouth was the driest it's ever been, like, between the tongue and the cheek were dry. I was like, "This is what a dead person's mouth feels like." But this morning, I was like, "I think I'm gonna skip my morning dose." But one thing that has been, like, kind of a challenge is, like, downstairs, there's no bathroom, it's upstairs.
Wow.
It's an old house, and so it's a lot of, like, gravity and Jesus that makes the plumbing function. There is a basement, and there was a teenager living down there before I bought this house, but I don't know how. It's the dankest. Well, he was high all the time. We came to look at the house and just found weed and bongs there in the basement.
That's the thing about being a stoner, you forget your shit when you move.
Think I'm probably gonna wind up being one of those, like, these people, the edible things for pain management, because I am not remember loving narcotics. I remember loving the sensation of all downers. Was afraid that, I would be rekindled. And it hasn't been really. I've found it kind of annoying. Not that it doesn't still make you feel good, because it does, but you're also just sort of like, oh, God, now I'm too stoned to do anything. I'm old. Drugs are not for the old.
Right?
24 party at 44 to my day is ruined. I need every ounce of energy it can get just to do normal things. Oh,
I'm going to see my aunt tomorrow.
oh, yeah.
I'm very excited about that. It's my mom's sister. Haven't seen her in well over a year. She lives about 3 hours away. That'll be good to see her.
I had to cancel my flight home for Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Yeah, there's 2 very good reasons to do it, though.
right?
One, I've gotta have spinal surgery, and my brother-in-law is in transit right now. He was traveling for work and got caught with all of this, TSA, the shutdowns and stuff like that. He's still not made it home. He's been stuck at Reagan International Airport for a day, I think.
Oh, wow.
They just keep delaying, delaying, delaying by huge chunks of time. And he sent us a picture of, the screens in the airport of the flights.
Mhm.
It was at least half red canceled flights.
Oh, wow.
When I logged into, I use like those discount apps to get tickets like Kayak and Expedia. When I logged in to cancel, it had a message up that basically said, "I hope you ain't buying no tickets. Woe betide you." You trying to go anywhere? And I was like, "God damn, this is serious."
Yeah.
And people just, I mean, so we found out today that they are going to pay out the SNAP benefits.
But I've heard a couple of different things though, scenarios.
Yeah.
One that it's gonna take a couple of months to get out the aid that they're giving them. That doesn't help anybody right now.
Yeah, there's some people have received in their account their funds and some people haven't. But how about them elections though?
My students were very hopeful about them. I thought that was great. When I start class, I always say, "How you guys doing today? Is there anything you wanna talk about on campus or in the news?" Because sometimes that gives us some good conversations.
Mhm.
And, somebody said today and yesterday in both classes that they were really excited about Mom Donnie.
Isn't that interesting how it's not his election is not necessarily directly influential on any national thing,
Right?
but there is something about that representation, just seeing something like that happen, that very well could influence the nation. And it wasn't just him either, like, Virginia, what was the other one? Was it Georgia?
That's the one that came to my mind, so it must be.
Some other state, there was several wins.
Right.
So, if nothing else, even if it doesn't come to anything directly influential, it's got people thinking.
I read that somewhere that, 10 governors are now women. That's 20%?
That is cool. And then the old white men are just falling out. Did you see the press conference with the Eli Lilly exec?
Yeah, and Trump just standing there.
Well, he was asleep in the chair until that happened.
Oh, wow.
The full video is out there, and I just saw some photos. He was sitting in that chair the whole time he was sitting in that chair. He was in some state resembling this, hands trying to hide, I guess. But then eventually his hands fell away, and he was slumped in that chair like this, just out.
Well, he is 80 years old or 79.
and unwell. My papa at 80 was running up and down the hills of Jellicoe and running tractors and maintaining 2 properties. It isn't only his age, although that is an age. It's a benchmark for sure, but he has clearly led a life of debauchery.
Yeah.
The stories of his drug use from people who've worked with him are shocking. I mean, like, so much about him would actually be kinda baller if he wasn't such a fucking cunt.
I agree completely. We're talking about RFK, right?
I don't know much about him. I had a friend who, he's one of those, like, constant libertarian bros, and libertarian this is a different subject, but where are libertarians now, you know? But there was a long time there, where I had a lot of libertarian friends who would say that they had that whole line of, "The two-party system is broken," which apparently to them means we should vote for whatever fucking reject shows up that doesn't align with either one, no matter how stupid and shitty they are.
Right?
So I had a friend he would send me like RFK's town halls from when he was trying to run in the 2024 election. And I was like, "Are you trolling? What is this man even talking about?" And he got mad and he was like, "Well, at least he's not Biden." And I was like, "My foot's not Biden, right? There's a pile of shit over there. That is not Joe Biden." Write that up on the ballot. I think hopefully after so long of that being demonstrably stupid way of selecting a candidate, those folks are done.
Yeah. I have been trying to distance myself from politics for the last week or so. I just needed a mental break. I've kept
Mhm.
it abreast of, like, the Facebook what gets through on Facebook, and that's just about it. Like, I didn't even read Heather Richardson this week. Like, I just needed a break.
Yeah,
So, I think that's loud.
absolutely. I've been diving into movies and stuff and trying to think like what is something that I never finished because I got to there was a lot of TV shows that I just stopped in the middle of. I went through a long period. I would watch a movie halfway through and then my mind would be racing and I'd have to turn it off and get up and do something else. So I've been going through my streaming services looking for the stuff that I hadn't finished. So I finished Alien Earth last night.
Oh, nice.
I really liked it. It is weird as hell. It's doing something. I mean, and Alien as a franchise is very interesting to me because it has so many different voices in it. Every film was written and directed by a different person.
I've never seen any of those.
I mean, of course, we all want everyone to see and experience our favorite films, but I do think the movie Alien, that's top 3 for me. Top 3 favorite
Yeah?
films. Yes,
Nice.
absolutely.
How violent is it?
It is very violent.
That would be my drawback. I
Well,
just
okay, let me put it this way. There is one scene that you will find upsetting because that's its job. But other than that, because it was filmed in 78, I think, and released in 79, something like that. It was filmed in the late 70s. So they were doing something like really kind of wild and experimental with limited resources in terms of like special effects and stuff. So everything had to be practical, and the monster was really huge. Instead of having to build this giant monster over and over and over again for every scene it was in, they shot around it. So they created the horror through this absent presence. They show the monster a couple of times so that we know what it looks like and we're afraid of it, and then we hardly ever see it again. And we stay with the characters who are trying to sneak around this ship and stay safe from this giant alien. But to establish the fear, there is a couple of really violent scenes. That was one of the first dates my dad took my mom on, and in
oh, wow.
the scene I'm telling you about, the scary one, she, like, flipped out and threw popcorn all over him. So for one of their, like, big anniversaries, I bought them the Blu-ray of Alien and a bag of popcorn.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
I can't think of any movies that signify, like, that much in, like, my family. Though we always did use one line from that movie Short Circuit, and I always forget that other people don't use it. K.O. Derf.
Yeah. I remember you said that to me, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, it's where he gets his wires backwards and he's trying to say, "Okay, Fred." And he says, "K.O. Derf." That's it's something we use to this day. Like, I still use it, as you know.
Yeah. When we got the VHS of The Little Mermaid, we wore that thing out.
Yeah.
'cause it was the first VHS we ever got, and for the longest time, it was the only one we had.
Aladdin is my favorite Disney movie. The
Ooh,
original, not the remake.
okay, what does it stand out with?
The genie, the Robin Williams part is my favorite part. He's great in that.
There's a handful of people that I never met and will never meet that I'm grateful to have shared time on Earth with, and he's one of them.
Yeah, for sure.
David Bowie's another.
Yeah.
I mean, we lived in the time of Michael Jackson. Isn't that amazing?
We could have been born I would have said in the time of dinosaurs, but I'm not an idiot. I know that humans and dinosaurs never coexisted.
Oh, have you been to that Ark? Or is it the Ark?
No.
That's I haven't either, but I've seen, there's a YouTuber I really like named Fundy Fridays, and she went to the Ark Museum and filmed it. So embarrassing. It's in Kentucky too, isn't it?
Yeah, yep. You gotta love people that actively enforce ignorance on people.
Tax free too.
I have a friend I went to a small school, so when you go to a small school, you're friends with, like, everybody, you know?
Mhm.
And so there was this girl, and she was on my softball team, and her sister was on my softball team, and we hung out, and I stayed the night at her house a couple of times. We just, we were friends or whatever. And she has become a quiverful kind of mother.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so back in my undergrad days, now we're talking like 2009, or like it's been a while now. I had to write for my public speaking class. You had to do a speech on somebody famous. And so I picked Oprah Winfrey,
Huh?
and she went off on a tirade about Oprah Winfrey that went on for like 3 paragraphs. And then I was talking about my botany class, and told me to ask my professor why there was no complete rock record or something, basically suggesting that the Earth is only 2,500 years old or whatever they believe. She has totally gone off her rocker quiverful movement that is just shocking to me.
It's just it preys on people who were already kind of, vulnerable. I'm trying to think of, like, what kind of vulnerability that is. It's sort of intellectual, but
It's it's naivety.
yeah, yeah, naivete for sure. What was her problem with Oprah?
I guess that she's rich. I don't know, but she's a black woman, and people
Y
don't like black women.
Right.
Is 100% the issue. I don't think she ever vocalized what her actual problem was, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Yeah. Incomplete fossil record, as opposed to the completely complete and verifiable Bible.
Right? I don't even get into those conversations with people. It's just not worth it.
No, I mean, some people are built for it, and I'm grateful to them. I saw John Fugelsang, was on some pundit show. I don't know if it was right wing or left wing, but he was reading people for Phil for being fake Christians because apparently he's the son of a Methodist preacher. So he was on there like quoting Jesus and blah blah blah, pointing out hypocrisy. And I know that that is absolutely going to have no effect whatsoever. Like he's not saving the world by doing that. He's if he changes one mind, I'll be shocked. But goddamn, I just love to see it. It makes me feel good.
That's how I feel about arguing in the comment sections on Facebook articles. I know I'm not changing anybody's mind. I know that they're always just gonna be like, "Okay, libtard idiot," or whatever, but sometimes you just gotta take the time to educate somebody on some shit. I told some lady today all about gender and how it's socially constructed.
Mm.
I was like, "Take that, internet lady."
That's the title of the episode. My thing lately has been going into the comments of queer media. So, like when Queer Kentucky posts on Facebook or Pink News or something, and finding the homophobes and commenting, "How did you get here? Is this in your algorithm? Do you follow these people? What part of your secretly gay internet history brought you to this particular article? And why did you feel like telling us you were here?"
Right?
Because, bitch, I know how algorithms work.
When I teach the lecture that has homophobia and all that stuff in it, I flat out say generally the people that protest too much are the gayest people I've ever met, you know? And that has 100% been true in my life. I'm sure there's somebody out there that is not representative of that, but I sure haven't met them.
Yeah. Did you just see, was it Marjorie Taylor Greene said she was gonna read the Epstein list
Yeah,
on the floor?
yeah. she's come out as being with some reasonable viewpoints in the last week or so, but somebody said it's because she's trying to run for president, which,
Mm,
oh,
bless her heart.
yeah,
In the pejorative sense.
yeah.
It could be that. I don't know if she is smart enough to pretend to be something she's not, and we don't even have to make that an intellect issue. I don't know if she can pretend to be something she's not. So I do tend to believe that these sort of epiphanies, these small awakenings that she's experiencing are genuine. I still well, of course, will never forgive her. I will be glad for her. I'll say it's great to have you on the team because we should love a useful idiot as much as they love a useful idiot.
Right?
But I do not forgive very easily. It can be very difficult to lose my trust sometimes, like I give people a pretty long leash, but once it's if you've done something bad enough to lose my allegiance, that's very difficult to lose, you probably are not redeemable.
I hear that. I'm a very loyal person.
Mhm.
If you lose me, then
You was trying.
yeah, you've made a decision to make that happen.
Oh, Lord. I've seen some discourse, talking about social media, people saying so, for instance, I saw a post on Threads, somebody was talking about cutting their family off over political disagreements, and this was a white person, and a black woman, I believe it was, replied, "I'm not, like, trying to be mean, but is this common for white people to cut family members off over a disagreement of politics and things like that?" And it was a very interesting discussion that brought in elements of race and class because there were middle class white people who were like, yeah, if I can't see eye to eye on an issue that's very important to me with a family member, then I'll cut them off. And white trash, we seemed to agree more with the black woman who was saying, like, I mean, there are felonies you can commit, and I'm not going to cut you off.
Right? Well, my mom was a grudge holder.
Hmm.
And she for a long time, she didn't speak to either of her sisters, and so I lost out on a lot of family that way, because if mom didn't speak to him, we weren't allowed to speak to him either, you know?
Right? Yeah, that it becomes a whole feud.
Yeah, we went from having Christmas and Thanksgiving together every year to nothing for many years, and then when my brother died, my aunts came to his funeral, and they kind of reconciled the relationship. That's one of the aunts that I'm going to see tomorrow.
That's awesome. It sucks that it takes that sometimes.
Yep. She's the only one left of mom's siblings, and my dad has a half sister left, and that's about it.
I was thinking about, like, for me now, I look forward to holidays, but 10, 15 years ago when I was still in my, like, insecure little queer kid stage, I would actively look for ways to get out of going to family Thanksgiving.
Right? Always went to mom's, she would always do Thanksgiving at her house, and then the last few years, we always went to my sister's, and so that became the tradition, and now the last couple of years, we went to my niece's house, and I'm not invited this year, so me and Shannon are gonna have Thanksgiving on our own,
Hmm.
so that'll be fine.
This is the niece you just talked to?
No, other
Oh,
niece.
okay.
My sister and her kids. That's who we went to. The niece that I was just talking to was my brother's child.
Okay. Um, I would say we could spin the wheel of what have you. It's got one thing left on it.
Kind of a process of elimination.
Yeah. I'll spend the weekend beefing that up again, and I'll put a post on Facebook and such. And listeners, tell us on Spotify comments or I don't think you can. Well, you could leave us a review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, whatever it's called, and tell us what should go on the wheel. But the only thing left on it right now is critters.
Critter. Well, I got a lot of stories about
Yeah.
critters.
Critters. I mean, first of all, what is critters? Like, is it differentiated from
Pets.
pets?
Yeah. The first story I thought of was when my dog Lacey peed in your lap.
And that was actually it wasn't we had known each other for a while by that point, but maybe like a year, it wasn't that was maybe only like the second or third time I'd come over to your house.
Yeah.
And I remember leaving in a pair of your ball shorts.
Yeah, what happened? She was a teacup poodle. She was very tiny, and we think her son, the other dog that we had, was on Lasix. He was on a water pill, and we think that she ate his water pill that day because never in her life did she pee on anybody. That was just a lucky day for you, man.
And
So,
she also, like, had several accidents in the house after that.
yeah, because that's what water pills make you need to pee constantly.
Mhm. And I remember, like, she got up in my lap. I didn't put her there, so I think she was trying to tell us something.
Well, she always loved boys, so
Yeah. I was like, "How do I tell these folks that their dog just peed in my lap?"
I was so embarrassed.
I mean, it was and luckily, I'm not squicked out by stuff like that. I have
Right.
pets and stuff, but, and I felt because I would have been embarrassed too, but I did not. I thought it was hysterical.
Yeah. With anybody else, I would have been mortified, but you played it cool, so I appreciated that.
Well, and that is tough. I mean, some folks have big feelings about body fluids and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. What else about critters? In my Facebook memories, like 2 days ago, came a story. One time when we were doing undergrad, we went to campus because Shanna had to work on some more studio art stuff, and I went with her. And we got out of the car, and I went to put some stuff in the garbage can that was there, and it was one that had, like, a closed lid with a hinge on it, and when I went to put the stuff in the garbage can, a squirrel came flying out of the garbage can, and I screamed like a girl.
The squirrels in BG, I think there was an article about it actually. They were mobilizing. No, this might have been EKU, but it, the especially squirrels that live on something like a college campus or something where like it has a very set culture, they will learn and they will coordinate and attack.
Yeah, the BG ones aren't afraid of anybody. The BG ones run up on everybody.
If you know the black and white ones that are there?
Yeah,
That's the only place I've ever seen those silky like, they are fully black and fully white, so I'm not talking about black and white striped squirrels, so
yeah. I see the black ones more than the white ones,
maybe the white ones get carried off by birds of prey more.
maybe. They're over at City Park too, so they're all over BG, just not on campus.
Yeah, never seen those before. So cool
Yeah.
looking. There was so when we lived on the mountainside, there was a lot of different kinds of wildlife. Deer would walk right up to the window. Have you ever seen a cockroach that flies?
No.
I think they're called wood roaches, something. They live in the woods, but yeah, they can fly.
Ew.
Yes. One of them got in the window of my room and it flew around and I don't remember if it touched me or not, but I remember also it was so big when it landed on the blinds, I could hear its feet hitting the
Ah.
yeah, I was like, "What?" Like, I was a teenager and I went and got my mother. I was like, "Get this thing."
When we moved to Lucasville for that year, just recently, my dad had built on to the trailer. He had made it more of a house and he had extended the bedroom. He had put his big safe in there. And then he made my mom a gift wrapping room. And then he put this lofted storage all over the place up there. And my sister had come down and to go through the stuff, and you had to get on a ladder to get up to the top storage places. So they had left the doors open, and I wasn't climbing my big ass up that ladder to close the door, right? And so Shannon and I are sitting there, and I heard, and I look over, and there's a bat flying right by my head. I screamed. Oh my god, I screamed, and it turned around and went back the way that it came. And I called my neighbor, and he came up with like a hockey mask and a baseball bat. And he went and he closed it, like, cause we think that it went back into the little hole that it came from. And then we shut the door, and we didn't see it again. It totally had a bat fly through the
There were bats that would circle around the streetlights when we lived in the trailer park, and I remember, like, that was often, like, a sign that it was time to go home.
Yeah.
There were copperheads up on the mountain. They would be near the streams, but they were that like, a lot of snakes are extremely skittish, and they were. So we didn't even though they were probably a lot of them, we hardly ever saw them. We would see their little tunnels, but I remember being scared of them every time I was up there, just convinced that they was gonna be around the corner. Have you ever seen a bear?
No. I mean, when I was in Tennessee, there was one up on the hill, but that was I wasn't anywhere close to us. So that's the only time I've seen one in real life. I've seen them dead on the side of the road before.
Ooh, poor bear. I haven't seen that.
Well, in the West Virginia hills, there's a lot of
Mm.
wildlife and stuff, and they come down sometimes.
Yeah, there were bears on our mountainside, and I can't remember ever actually seeing one. I think we've talked about this before, like the screams in the hills.
Yeah. There's a lot of coyotes in our hills, and they scream.
Yeah, they do. I think a lot of people think that the Appalachian screams are bobcats
Yeah.
because in captivity they'll make this sound that sounds just like, especially like a child or a woman, someone with a high pitched voice screaming.
It's creepy is all I know.
I was gonna. I have some sad stories about wildlife, but I think I won't tell them.
I think of one story that's completely inappropriate to tell.
Right? So much of like wildlife stories is us. It's like us against them. Like we're either we're where we're not supposed to be, or they're where they're not supposed to be.
Yeah. On that same hill with we saw snakes. We saw big, long snakes in the driveway, and so we bought snake repellent, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Hmm.
They come in little balls, and you throw them all over. We had snake repellent balls all over around the front of the porch and around under the porch
Oh,
and stuff. No, thank you. And then when Cletha moved out, she left a garbage bag of her stuff sitting on the porch, and she didn't tell me that there was food in the bag. And one of the things on the bag, because I saw, so I left it sitting there for a few days because I didn't think there was anything in there, and we had to take our garbage down the hill to the dumpster down there. She left a whole unopened bag of peanuts in the shell,
mm.
and a raccoon got into it, and it looked like there was a bomb that went off. It was filled with peanuts. They were everywhere. We had a lot of critters we had to deal with up on that hill.
Have you ever had chiggers?
I don't think so.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, I don't know what their real name is. It's some sort of mite that lives in tall grass. Mom always said that they preferred to live in Queen Anne's lace, that like white flower. Sometimes they call berry bugs or bush mites or scrub itch mites. They look kind of like prickly bed bugs, but they are
Ew.
microscopic. Well, they were real bad in Jellicoe and Williamsburg there in that area, and they burrow down into the skin. I think just vibe. I don't know if it's a bite. I could be totally wrong about how all this. Maybe they don't actually burrow down in the skin. Maybe that's an old wives' tale. But they make a little red sore, and it itches like a mosquito bite. But you know how a mosquito bite can stop itching after anywhere from a few hours to a couple days.
Right.
Chiggers itch for weeks.
Oh god.
Just think of the itchiest that a mosquito bite ever gets, like peak itchiness. It's that and it's constant and nothing stops it. And they hatch from a nest. I worked for the whitewater rafting outfitters there on Cumberland River. And so we lived in the woods, but it's really close to my parents. And so we would come up to my parents' house and hang out there sometimes to break up the monotony and have indoor plumbing. But we would still hang out outside. And so we lit a fire up down by the trash pile where my mom would burn brush and had a cooler. We were sitting there drinking beer. It was me and these two girls. One of the girls was named Tiffany. The other one was named Neely, and I was dating her that summer. And Tiffany, so we had showers at the outfitters, but it was cold water and it was uncomfortable. So Tiffany just simply didn't take them. She would take a dip in the river every day whenever we went on the trip, and to her that was a bath. Mind you, we called the Cumberland River the Scumberland.
Oh, wow.
You weren't getting clean coming out of that. So this
Yeah.
this was her hygiene. So this is another reason we were hanging out outside. I was sitting on the cooler and they were sitting in the ground. The next morning, me and Neely wake up covered in hundreds of chigger bites, head to toe, and they love the creases. So like ass crack, behind the knees, elbow bends, anywhere you like under the boobs. It was awful. Literally hundreds of chigger bites. Tiffany didn't have a one.
Oh, wow.
They stayed for weeks and we were miserable. We clawed trenches in our skin in our sleep. We'd put socks on our hands to go to sleep.
I had the chicken pox the summer after I graduated from high school. I was 17. Oh my god, that I do understand the itching that won't stop.
It did kind of remind me of the chicken pox.
Yeah.
And you look like you've got measles or something like that. And there was all these we were trying every old wives' tale we could think of, rubbing turpentine on it, which hurt like hell. We
Yeah.
put nail polish on it because somebody told us that putting nail polish on it. Can you imagine sitting there putting nail polish, painting it under your
Oh, no.
I still have a fear of Queen Anne's lace because I'm convinced I'm gonna get chiggers from them.
Oh. I don't know who gave me the chicken pox, but I'm still pretty bitter about it. I was 17. I'd already graduated high school.
Do you think it was orchestrated?
No. Mom thought I'd already had them
Oh,
because I was the baby and my brother and sister had them when they were young, and so she just memory didn't serve correctly, and she remembered that we all 3 had them when I wasn't even born yet.
that must be hard to keep track of, actually.
Yeah, I bet it is. I can't remember from teaching the same class back to back what I've said in each class. I
Mm,
can't imagine remembering which kid had what.
yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got mine from a sleepover, and I think the sleepover was orchestrated chickenpox party.
Gotcha.
And listeners, I don't know if you've heard of this, but some parents will, if a kid gets chickenpox, you want the kid to get chickenpox. Like everyone needs to get it because it's very dangerous to get them as an adult.
Yes.
So they would have sleepovers with a kid. If somebody came up, oh, such and such got chickenpox, let's go out. Let's hurry and get all the kids together so they all catch it, which is diabolical, but also
Yeah.
really smart.
It's probably not a thing anymore with the vaccines.
Is there a vaccine for
Oh,
chickenpox?
yeah. Yep.
Ooh, cool. It's the same virus as shingles, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep, if you have chickenpox, you can get shingles.
Yeah, I've had it a couple times.
Yeah, my sister deals with it.
Miserable.
Yeah.
When did you get your first pet?
Um, Before I can remember, there's pictures of me with a dog that we named John Boy,
Mm.
when I was very, very little, like a year and a half old. The first one that was mine was a cat named Pedro the Devil Cat. He he had some kind of leukemia or something, and mom told me she took him to a farm. She literally told me that after I left for school. We had a dog named Toby that he was my uncle bought her for his granddaughter, and he bit her, so he gave him to us, so we had Toby. But then on my own, my first cat was a cat named Trance.
Mhm.
He was part Norwegian forest cat, I'm convinced, because he looks like him, and he was bigger than the dog, and he was huge,
Yeah.
and his tail was ginormous, and he was a badass. But I loved him. He was my badass.
Have you ever ridden a horse?
Yes.
Are you good at riding horses?
No.
How'd it go?
I've done it a couple of times. When we were it was when we were in Iowa, I remember specifically we were doing that. We went to stay with my dad for a couple of weeks in the summer, and the horse threw my brother off of him, and I thought that was hilarious.
Horses scare the daylights out of me.
Yeah.
They're just so big, and I've been kicked by one, and I've been thrown by one. There was a very unruly horse at the farm that we spent a lot of time at, and he just put the fear of equanimity into me.
And then when I worked for Autism Services, one of my clients, had equine therapy, and so we went to the barn once a week, and I got to help her, like, doing the brushing and
Mm,
doing the things that she did. So that was fun. That
yeah.
was fun. But I didn't ride then, I just helped her do some of the she rode, and she enjoyed it.
Because I also just think they're all like amazing and beautiful. So I just have
Mm.
this tendency to love things that I also have a fear of. I'm the same way with the ocean. I'm fascinated by the ocean, but it scares the life out of me.
Yeah, I had an uncle die in the ocean, and it scares me. A riptide got him,
Yeah.
and he was a big, strong, huge man, and he died saving his stepdaughter. If it can take my Uncle Timmy, it can take anybody.
Yeah. I mean, you can drown in an inch of water.
Yeah.
So why do I need to go getting in 1,000 feet of water?
Well, I hurt my leg at the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
you got beef too.
yeah, I got sand with MRSA in it on my leg, and it opened up a huge wound,
Phew.
and I dealt with that for years. I still deal with the swelling of it because 'cause I've got lymphedema in my legs, and they swell really weirdly around my scars, and it hurts. I don't recommend it.
My mom's had lymphedema since she had breast cancer.
Oh, wow. I think it's related to my PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome,
Mm.
which because it makes you insulin resistant and everything else. Because basically, I had a diabetic wound before I was diabetic.
Isn't it just fucking crazy how some diseases will gang up on you?
Yeah,
They bring their friends. Comorbidities of, like, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, that's what's taking me out right now.
yeah.
Like, "Oh, you're such a bully, you can't come on your own?"
Lame.
Lame. It gets dark here at 4 p.m. now.
It's about 5 when it gets here now. We're
No.
supposed to get our first snow this weekend.
I know. I don't think we are for a while, but, yeah, I think in Kentucky too, my family was talking about how they might get theirs.
Up to an inch, they said,
Dang. I keep thinking it's still October.
but it is not,
It is
sadly.
not.
But I got my winter coat all fixed
Yeah.
up. I bought a really nice coat last winter because it was our first winter back up here, and I wasn't gonna be cold. So I got me a real Midwestern,
Yeah.
fleece on the inside and plastic shell on the outside, basically,
Hell yeah.
and it was really warm, but my backpack got stuck on it last year as I was trying to get in the car, and when I pulled it, it ripped. But I had a really nice old lady. She was the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. Her name was Maggie. And she gave me back my coat. I just gave it to her. She gave it back to me in this little thank you bag that was adorable. She was 79 years old.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and my coat looks great. It was only 20 bucks. I tipped her $5
Hell
too.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that was a good experience. And then we just bought Shanna a coat this week too, so she's ready to go.
you remember when you were a kid and you could walk out in a flannel and maybe a hoodie and be fine, come what may,
Yeah.
and now I have pants with fleece lining in them. Multiple pairs. Multiple
I
pairs.
can't do that because I will sweat my ass off if I do that. So, I haven't gone that far, but I do have a coat because I can take it off because I sweat like nobody's business.
Oh, I do I have a hyperhidrosis, but I've also never experienced a winter like Minnesota is I think Claire put it best. She said Minnesota is the final boss of winter because once it gets cold, it just stays below 0.
Plus, I have to use wide leg pants because the lymphedema in my legs. So I a lot of those want to be narrow legged, and I can't. My legs won't even fit in them.
You might need the snow pants.
Yeah,
I got a pair of those too.
yeah.
Cozy. But there was a couple of days I also bought a pair of the Carhartt, like, super heavy duty lined coveralls.
Mhm.
Had to wear them a few days.
Oh wow.
'Cause I'm not even talking wind chill, it is actually just -20 degrees.
Yeah. The coldest it's been here since I have lived here was my first winter here, and the wind chill got to -47.
You talking about
You would have
when
been here
Yeah,
too.
yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that. That was, up until that point, the coldest temperature I've ever experienced,
Yeah.
and I didn't know about it, and they had said, like, "You can't go out and drive." They put it was a level 4
Agree.
degree, so
Yeah.
whatever it is, the one where it's only people who are emergency personnel or, like, federal officials are allowed to drive, and we remember we had to, like, have a Twitter war to get, Maisie to shut the school down.
Yep. Yep.
Frozen had just come out, so I just remember watching all the memes come at her, like, they were photoshopping her face onto Elsa, the cold never bothered me
I
anyway.
remember the
It
whole Twitter war
it was
about it. Yeah.
epic, it was so cool. The kids, they were like, "We are not doing this, you mean bitch. Close school.
Yeah.
This is dangerous."
They closed school last winter here, like at 6 PM. Like they closed all the classes from 6 PM on because it was so dark and so cold.
Yeah.
They did that a couple of times last semester, or not the semester before.
I don't know what her problem was, but she never wanted to let them stay home when it got dangerous
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah.
But so they canceled everything, and so I thought, "Well, I'll walk down to the store and, get me a six-pack," because I live down the street from, West Side 6,
Yeah.
and so I was like, "I wanna get a shawarma and a beer."
Outside 6.
Southside 6, right. So, I put on a bunch of layers, I had my blue jeans, I put on my tights underneath them, had my socks, had my boots, put on, thermal, flannel, hoodie, coat, scarf, hat. I mean, I even thought, like, "This is probably overkill." And I went outside and I was like, "Wow, okay, I'll walk fast." I got maybe halfway there and realized that my legs were numb, couldn't feel them at all.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember why, but I pulled my phone out to look at it, and the phone had died. It got so cold that it bricked up the phone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was like, "I'm in danger." So I just turned right around and went back. I was like, "I don't need it that bad."
They were probably closed anyway. Wouldn't that have sucked if you got all the way there to where they would have closed?
Oh, yeah, yeah, and because I didn't understand how dangerous it was. I'd never experienced that before.
Yeah. It gets so cold they can't salt the roads. That's what's wild to me.
How's that work? Do you know?
Because they use sand instead of salt after the sand. Because it gets to a point where the melting temperature is below the freezing temperature of the salt water.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so they have to use sand.
They don't do shit here.
Oh, wow.
They scrape, but they don't plow. They don't actually put what's it called, that part, the shovel part of a plow? Maybe it's just plow. It doesn't actually touch the road. It's a few inches above it, and they just try to flatten. That's all they're trying to do is flatten it out, and people will if you can drive on top of it, more power to you, but because they have to do it so often, they would just destroy the road. Because the snow happens here, it, like, snows, doesn't melt, snows again, doesn't melt. So, over the winter, it's just piled up to there were mountains of snow that were 3 times my height.
Oh, wow.
Never seen anything like it. It's kinda cool, right? It is a little badass, but it's also just wildly uncomfortable. It's miserable.
Yeah, my soul is not ready for the cold temperatures. It's just is not. I have no want to live south of here in any regard,
Yeah, I know.
because the size of the bugs when it gets hotter, that's just too much for me. But on the other hand, I don't know. Shannon wants to go further north. She wants to go to the UP, would be her ideal destination for retirement.
I tell you what about this area, it is not shy of bugs. Granted, they're not interesting bugs, they're not scary or whatever, but what they don't have in size, they make up for in number. The air is bugs. Like, I I got to where I had to train myself to be able to run without breathing through my mouth because you would choke on bugs.
Oh god.
Yeah. They say there's a joke here that the Minnesota state bird is a mosquito,
Oh,
and they ain't lying.
yeah.
Well, maybe let's hear from this week's sponsor that I've already forgotten because I took my medicine. I don't even remember what I wrote. Lord, strap in, y'all. Disclaimer, I was not in my right mind when I wrote this. Okay, this week's episode of Queer Next is brought to you by MumbleDepeg, teaching folks how to stay steady since about the dawn of any other bad idea. Born of an abundance of time, sharp things, and a paucity of sense, MumbleDepeg was what you did when you wanted to prove that you had some nerve. You'd flip the blade from your hand, your elbow, maybe your nose if you were showing off. The winner sticks the blade in the dirt, the loser roots in the dust with their teeth to pull the peg out. No, I am not making this up. This was a real game we played. There never was a better metaphor for the indignities of poverty, scarcity, and messy tenacity. This is not a true game of skill, but rather one of chance. The real sport of MumbleDepeg is in keeping cool when the blade lands closer and closer to your toe with each drop, about acting like you weren't scared of bleeding a little. That's a language rural folks learn to understand early. Stoicism, pride, and the kind of stubborn self-assurance you can't learn from a YouTube tutorial. But there's something altogether queer about MumbleDepeg. We play it every time we walk into a new space and measure how safe it feels. Every time we say our name out loud and hope it sticks. We've learned to hold our hands steady, flip the blade just right, and smile like it doesn't still make us nervous. MumbleDepeg was never for the faint of heart, and neither is growing up queer in a town where the church bells outnumber the stoplights. But here's the secret. Once you've learned to laugh with a knife in your hand and mud on your knees, the world can't scare you as much. So this fall, QueerNext invites you to play your very queerest game and make it look easy. Show up loud, stick your landing, and if you fall flat, pick yourself up, spit out the dirt, and declare that it was simply character work. This week's episode is sponsored by MumbleDepeg.
I've never heard of that in my life.
You never played it? We played it on the school. We played it on the playground in elementary school.
So what are the rules? What do you do?
Okay, so it's a pocket knife, and the goal is to drop it in such a way that the knife sticks into the ground. So it has to land standing up like that. And you can either play like one-on-one versus, and whoever sticks it is the winner. And if you both stick it, whoever sticks up the straightest is the winner. Or you can play it like a round, like elimination. You can set it up a lot of different ways. But ultimately, it is all about eliminating somebody who has to remove the MumbleDepeg with their teeth. So you've stuck a twig or something into the ground. You look for the muddiest, messiest part or whatever. You try to stick it down real deep, and then the loser has to pull it out with their teeth.
That sounds like a terrible game.
Just imagine a bunch of second graders playing this in on
Second graders with pocket knives.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Is there nothing like that, like, that y'all played where or maybe you think back and you're like, "That was this unusual thing we did?"
We would go to Walmart and pretend to get married in the craft section because there was nothing else to do.
I love Walmart improv.
Yeah,
We did a bunch of that too. We got kicked out a few times for some things, and some of them were in poor taste, like we were pretending to be panhandlers one time.
gotcha.
We took my guitar and we sat down and we put a hat out and pretended to be begging for dollars, and we didn't know that that was illegal. We just thought it was funny. So not only was it in poor taste, it was also illegal, and one of the many things we probably should have gone to jail for as kids. But yeah, we would also go in and we would have water gun fights in the aisles. We played dodgeball in there one time.
That's like a goal
It was that might have been the last time we were
allowed in there.
yeah, and you also because it was the only Walmart in a 100-mile radius,
Yep.
you can't
Yep.
tell the truth about why you can't go back. Your mom would be like, "Let's stop in the Walmart." "Oh, I got something to do. Can you drop me off?" But then they'll forget though. Like, ultimately, whenever I would it's maybe you're just in a different context when you're with your parent.
Yeah.
Getting kicked out of places back then, especially before their cameras were very good, it was just sort of like, "Don't come back for a week."
Yeah.
Well, you wanna give us a noun of Appalachian interest?
I absolutely do.
Yeah.
All right. I'm doing this one in honor of Shanna.
Okay.
Welcome back to Nouns of Appalachian Interest, the part of Queer Next where we take something simple, stare at it lovingly for way too long, and call it culture. Today's noun, the West Virginia slaw dog. Now let's clear this up before we lose any listeners in the parking lot. A true West Virginia slaw dog is not chili, onions, and slaw. It's a union of chaos and hubris, and we are not here for it. No, it's a proper slaw dog is just a hot dog with coleslaw. That's it, nothing else, just meat and mayonnaise holding hands in public. You can trace the slaw dog back to the mid-century roadside stands and Dairy Queens across West Virginia, the kind with neon signs that buzzed like lightning bugs and picnic tables out front. Sometimes after the war, folks started spooning the same creamy slaw that topped their fried fish onto their hot dogs, probably because somebody's aunt got tired of using two bowls. The result was a revelation: cold crunch meeting warm dog in a bun so soft it could double as a pillow. By the 1960s, it was everywhere. Drive-ins, gas stations, the little Dairy Queen off of Route 60 in St. Albans, the Tasty Freeze at Charleston. You can order one for lunch or grab a grape knee-high and still have change left over to play the jukebox. The thing about the slaw dog is that it's quietly radical. It doesn't perform for outsiders. It doesn't care about elevated Southern cuisine. It's the kind of food that looks you dead in the eye and says, honey, this is what we had and we made it work. It's Appalachian thrift turned into joy. Now that slaw, that's where the art lives. You'll see two major schools of thought: sweet mayo slaw and vinegar slaw. Sweet slaw folks believe the sugar heals all wounds. Vinegar slaw folks believe that life is pain, but at least it's tangy. Either way, the cabbage is chopped fine, not shredded, not fancy, just small enough to rest easy on the bun without staging a slide off. To me, the slaw dog is what happens when comfort food stops trying so hard. It's the middle of July, you're barefoot in the grass, paper plate bending under the weight of potato chips and devotion. There's a half-empty pitcher of sweet tea sweating on the porch rail, and somebody's yelling at the store-bought buns are too thin, but they'll do. And somehow, this little hot dog with its crown of slaw becomes perfect. It's messy in the way that good things are supposed to be. It's not a meal that you eat, it's a feeling that you chase. It's also the most democratic food in Appalachia. Everybody's got a version, everybody's aunt claims hers is the original, and nobody's wrong. You'll find it at church picnics, at ball fields, funerals, weddings, and every political fundraiser that promises free food but means slaw dogs. It's the culinary handshake of West Virginia, casual, comforting, and just a little bit sticky. And maybe that's why we love it, because it's honest. It doesn't try to be gourmet or photogenic, it just exists, like many of us do, quietly, proudly, in its own messy glory. So here's to the West Virginia slaw dog, the humble hero of summer, proof that mayonnaise and cabbage can change lives, and the only food that tastes like both childhood and adulthood in the same bite. Back to you, Dash.
I've never had a slaw dog.
It's Shanna's absolute favorite.
Why?
She craves them.
Yeah, listening to you describe it, I need to give it a shot. I've had a slaw burger, which is the same philosophy.
There's a place in Huntington called Stewart's, and it's just a little hot dog shack, and that's all they serve burgers now, but they used to be, I think, just hot dogs. Anyway, you could get a chili dog there, or you could get a slaw dog, and Shanna loves them.
There was a song by the Kentucky Headhunters.
Yeah. Let's all go
Dumas Walker.
down to Dumas Walker.
Yeah, and get a slaw burger and a ski.
Yeah.
I've been to Dumas Walker.
Oh, yeah?
It's in Greensburg, Kentucky. It's not called Dumas Walker anymore, but they do still serve the slaw burger and ski combo.
That's cool. A lot of people put slaw on, like, barbecue sandwiches and things like that.
Now that I've had, and that's the way to do it.
I know you don't have a McDonald's close, right?
There's one a half hour away.
The holiday pies are back.
What are those?
You've never had a holiday pie from McDonald's? Oh, my friend. So it's a sugar cookie like crust, and they fill it with like a warm custard.
Say less.
They are delicious.
I'm gonna make an excuse that I need to go. Actually, I am gonna try to go visit some friends tomorrow. I've got to time it right because I can't drive on the. I've got 3 pain meds. Any one is enough to make me not be able to drive. So if I time it, I can go up there and see some friends. So I'll stop by the McDonald's up there.
You should. You'll and tell me, report back. Let me know what you think
I'll-
because they are my favorite. They just came back November 1st, and I've already had like 5. So,
Nice.
yeah,
Well, awesome.
because McDonald's is the closest like fast food that we have to us. That and Taco Bell.
Well, I'm selling something on Facebook Marketplace, so I better let you go. I thought that sounded pretty redneck.
I've sold plenty of things on Facebook Marketplace before.
Yeah, I've sold a couple things.
When we were moving, we sold a bunch of stuff like our washer and dryer.
Well, what you got going on this weekend? Anything fun?
I'm going to see my aunt on Saturday. Sunday, I got to write an exam. We don't have any class on Tuesday because of Veterans
Veterans
Day.
Day.
Yeah, but that's my office hours day, so I won't have access. So I have to go down and print at some point. Be good. I have given it another exam. I give so many freaking exams.
Yeah.
That's all I end up doing is grading exams. Wish I knew the person that wrote the damn syllabus.
Whose fault is this? Does it look like I have an antenna?
It does. I've looked at it the whole time.
We are so stupid.
You looked at. I kept thinking Marvin the Martian.
Yeah. That's what I'm serving right here. God. Well, hope you enjoy your visit with your aunt.
Thank you. What are you doing this weekend?
Oh, I gotta try to get this dissertation ready to upload.
Well, if you need any help, I'll do my best with it. So
I got a meeting with the person who does that next week, and then I'm gonna do all of that, and then I might send it to you for a look over.
Okay, no problem. I'll do my best on it.
Well, listeners, thanks for listening. We're grateful to you for that. Hey, send us to somebody you think might find we're funny. Post about us on social. I don't know, if you feel like it. If you haven't yet, give us a 5-star rating on iTunes or whatever it's called, or wherever you listen. And subscribe to the newsletter. It'll be in the show notes. I put everything in there.
If you don't know how to subscribe to the newsletter, just Google Substack Queernecks, and that will bring it right up, and you can subscribe right from that page.
Yep. Or also at the bottom of our website, captivate.com/queernecks, or in the show notes here. If you open the show, there'll be a link in there to subscribe. Say hi to your mom and them.
Bye.